All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kwadash. I want to say double honor to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone for teaching this word in truth and sincerity, and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, who believe in it and standing in that name. It is the brother Gabar Yahweh from JMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. Just woke up a little bit, and I'm watching this video from Apostle Tahar had uploaded to his page. Former One West dude tells why he fell out the truth, and I hear this man going back and forth with the elders, Baltimore, and he out there speaking to them. I remember this video when it was first loaded, but now that I look at the video again, you know, it's spiritual too, because over a couple of years, you understand perspective more. You know, when this video first came out, I didn't really understand what I was watching. You know, I would go to the scripture of Luke 9:62, which we're going to revisit that scripture now. But something I was thinking about, a lot of them dudes that fell out the truth, they still be watching. You know, we don't know who they are. We don't know their videos. We don't know their government names or anything like that. But a lot of them dudes that are still here, they're watching. And they're hoping that, like, before, I don't know what they're hoping for, but it seems as though they're hoping for, like, before all hell breaks loose, they're going to put on their garments, they're going to come back out, and they're going to, call themselves repenting and call themselves doing the work. But this not one of them jobs where you can just quit and come back when you want to. Like any job, if you quit your job in the middle of work, you can't expect to be hired again. You can't expect to get a reward because you worked for so many years at, I don't know, AT&T, but then you quit in the middle of your job, and now a reward is coming to those people that have worked at AT&T. You are not currently an employee. You're a former employee, so you don't get the reward. You don't get no check. You don't get a continuous check. Let's say you quit your job on a 29th year, but retirement is on the 30th year. Well, you can't get, if you quit or get fired on your 29th year and the 30th year is the following year, you can't go back up to that job and say, hey man, can I get my retirement check? Nah, you don't get no retirement check. You got to get it how you live. That 29 years, you just wasted it. And the elder, Karata Zatba, he's speaking to the man. He said that that man was supposed to continue, because it had that man continue, because he said he came in the 90s, like, or the mid 90s or something like that. Hey, this dude would have been an elder, and he's talking about dudes being charlatans. He's talking about dudes' doctrine and all this other stuff. He even mentioned, and at this point of the video, he mentioned Sakari. So that means that this dude be watching. And that's the point that I want to make. Like, these dudes that fall out, they're still watching because they're scared. This is Luke 9:62. And Yahweh Shai said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of heaven, man. And that's right. No man that put his hand to the plow and looking back, going back into the world, is fit for the kingdom of heaven. And a lot of dudes, from the past and even in the present, man, they're looking back in the world. They've looked back and they're looking back in the world as if it's something to be desired. But it's not. It don't matter if the prophecies take a certain time to happen. And the scripture says, though it tarry, wait for it. Wait for it. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to wait. You ain't supposed to, just because you hear the information, just because you hear the sweetness of the scriptures, just because you hear the bitter of the scriptures, doesn't mean that it's a time to vacate your office. And all them dudes vacated their office, man. If they're still alive, they're still watching, man. Because they know that what they learned in One West was the truth. No matter what was going on around there, the truth was still there. When the scripture says you can do nothing against the truth but for the truth, man. And this guy got this simple look on his face. It's like, that's the look that a lot of Jake that was in his truth are going to have, man, because the apostles, they always tell us stories, you know, via the epistles. They'll tell us stories about how it was like thousands of people, man, that had this truth, man. And there's a punishment behind that. You don't just quit Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is the reason why the apostles and the elders, and this is just a commentary, really. I'm gonna pull a scripture, but it's really a commentary. It says, the apostles and the elders, they teach us that, the tools needed for this truth. See, a lot of dudes back in the day, and even now, you got men that just want to be a part of something. You got men that just want to be, amongst the crowd. You got men that desire certain things, and they actually see it in this truth, and then they come to it, they flock to it. But what you're flocking to is real, man. This is not fake. This is not a game. It's not a joke. It's not a hangout. It's not for play. This is really deadly serious, man. And these dudes knew better. Slack it. This is the book of Luke 12, verse 47. And the servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Okay? Slack it. It says, but he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to men, and to whom men have committed much of him, they will ask the more. Okay, so that's the thing. Slack is another scripture. Again, this is Luke 12 and 47. It says, and that servant which knew the Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did accordingly to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Right, and you're going to have that because these guys knew the will. They received the truth. They turned their back on the plow. You're not going to receive a reward. You're going to receive a reward, but it's going to be with many stripes, man, because you knew better. You knew better, and you didn't stick it out. And you see that all the time, man. Whether you was in this thing in the 90s, whether you came in the 2000s, whether you came in the 2010s, whenever you came in, if you put your hand to this work and you quit, you're going to be punished for that, man. And there's a serious judgment for that. Like this dude said he fell out because of the 2000 thing. You hear, what's his name? Vocab alone speaks about the year 2000 prophecy. And like one of the elder brothers had asked this dude, he's like, hey, you don't even know what time we in, man. He says, we don't, and we don't truly know what time it is. And also, too, the scripture says, no man knoweth the hour nor the time in which the Lord has set that he's going to send his son back, only the Father. So these are scriptures that's supposed to come in your mind. It don't matter if, that we ain't out of here right now. Yeah, we hasten the time. We hasten it. But like the apostles say, man, like, Lord willing, we ain't here to a certain time period. And things are happening. A lot of the things that are happening right now weren't happening in the 90s, man. They might have been being prepared for it, but they were not happening in the 90s, man. The RFID microchip wasn't on a world stage as it is today. Okay, a lot of things that are said to happen prior to the Lord coming. It wasn't a lot of uproars and displacement of the people going on, earthquakes and many places going on. It wasn't a lot of pestilence going on in the 90s, man. In fact, for Esau, the 90s was a booming time, man. You had the .com movement go on, but what also did you have? You had the internet coming to fruition. Because, see, this word, it was preached, but it wasn't preached across the four corners of the globe. There wasn't an Israelite explosion in the 90s. It was there. It was heavy. Because in New York City, that's where the truth came out of One West, man. Okay? And our elders and our apostles, they were still being prepared for the great journey that they would have to seek have to walk, man. You know, from Apostle Tahar, Apostle Kabar, Apostle Ramlab, Apostle Wakar, to the bishop elders. A lot of them men weren't even in the truth. A lot of them men were just coming into the truth in the mid to late 90s, man. So what would have happened? We would have been without, man. So the Lord weeded out a lot of them dudes that wasn't real, man. And that's the truth. It's a lot of dudes that's in this truth that's just not real, man. They could perpetrate the fraud. They could dress the part. They could eat the chicken. They could dip their hand all the way in the ranch, you know. But a lot of dudes, they just there just to be there. And then especially during that time, that's what it seems to show. That a lot of dudes in the 90s, a lot of dudes that fell out because of the year 2000 prophecy, which vocab alone, he tries to use that as a thing to say that we're not the true prophets of the Lord. But it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with that. Like, if this thing would have happened in 2000, man, we would have been dead. I was a kid. I was in the world. I didn't know nothing from nothing. I didn't know nothing about nothing. You know, spiritual or carnal, man. You know? So, in reality, the Wadi Al-Bashim Al-Shai, the year 2000 prophecy didn't happen, man. But see, that was a stumbling block. That was a stumbling block. And there are many stumbling blocks, man. This Christianity is in the world, that the world observes and, you know, praises. That's a stumbling block, man, for 2/3 of our people, for a lot of our people. And you got to be prepared for that. When you in this truth, you got to be prepared for stumbling blocks. So you see a stumbling block, if you jump over it, you move around it. Don't trip over it, man. Keep going. It's like a street. I'm walking down the street. I'm trying to get to point A, from point A to point B. And there's a hole in the street, or there's a bump in the street. Now, I see it coming. I'm walking and I see it happening. What am I to do? I'm supposed to go around it. I'm supposed to go over it. I'm supposed to get out the way. Hey, you might even trip, but you're supposed to get up and keep walking, because that ain't your point that you stop. A lot of dudes in 2000s, from this man's own mouth, they just stopped. They stopped. And they didn't keep going. Their stumbling block wasn't meant. The stumbling block isn't the point B, but it meant it was set up to stop a lot of dudes that had that was walking, including this man, you know. And now what are they doing? They sitting back home. They on a computer, because see, Jake thinks that you're gonna just make a million videos about them, particularly because they fell out. No, they're gonna be marked. They're gonna be laughed at because they started to build and they didn't continue on. But hey, we gonna keep it going, man. One monkey don't stop the show, man. And there are true believers out there like us. Lord willing, we endure to the end. This thing ain't about a 5, 10, 20, 30 year ride, man. No, this is to the end, man. And our apostles, they're great examples for us. Because even with 30 plus years grinding, 20 plus years grinding, 25 plus years grinding, 15 years grinding, all of these years, guess what? They still acting like this their first year in the truth, and they trying to get the hell out, man. Their mindset never changed, which was to endure to the end so that they can get obtain salvation. Their mindset was still on salvation when everybody else quit, when everybody else fainted. The apostles, the bishop, elders, and the brothers on down, they didn't quit. They didn't faint. You know, you got some Jake. They just started running around the track, and they already go, oh, I can't do this, fuck this, and they leave for whatever reason. You're gonna be destroyed, my man, and you're gonna be beat with more stripes, my man, because you knew better. Okay, this is another scripture. Okay, this is Hebrews chapter 4, verse 20. But for unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. And that was a key point. And we was last night, we, the brothers of GMS Hawaii, we got together and we were talking about that. We had a beautiful, beautiful sit down amongst each other. It was a fellowship and education night. And the first thing we started talking about was faith, man. Faith. And it was something that a man has said. I'm going to see if I can find that video so I can. So I want you to listen to this video real quick. Because this is the mindset of 2/3. This is the mindset of a quitter. Okay? Now, this man, he don't know the Lord. He didn't come into the truth. This guy that you see on this video right here, he didn't come into this truth. He don't know the Lord. But that dude that y'all just saw at the beginning of this video, he knew the Lord, and he quit. He gonna be beat with more stripes than this Jake, man. Because this dude is just sincerely lost. That dude, he quit. Let me play this real quick.
Person say they don't know, then somebody say act like they know, and my guess is just as good as yours. I mean, so like my view on God just been more like I don't know him. Like, I mean, for all I know, he didn't even make us. He could have made the stuff that made the person or the beings that made us. We might be a step from God. We don't even know. You know what I mean? So, like, before I was like real religious, like real, like, you know, going by the book. You know what I mean? But that's not being afraid to say, like, yo, when something real drastic happened to you, your whole outlook on life changed. You know what I mean? If you see a baby burnt up in the car, man, it's like, you ain't trying to hear that I mean, God, everything happened for all that shit. You ain't really trying to hear that shit. I mean, like, you just like, man, listen, man. I mean, but I know something made us. But we don't know. And everybody quickly say, yo, we here for this, we here. Like, shit. I'm not telling you what I know what's going on. I'm just saying we don't know. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, just saying I don't know. I mean, but people don't act like they swear you down that they know. So you got faith. Okay, I understand you got faith. And I'm envious of a person that got faith without proof.
So that's the point. This man said that's the mindset of 2/3. They're envious of men that have faith and don't have the proof. And this person said there is no better teacher than adversity. Every defeat, every heartbreak, every loss contains its own seed, its own lesson on how to improve your performance the next time. And Malcolm X, when we are going through the reason. Okay, so, hey, that's the truth. So going back to this guy, he faced adversity. His adversity was that the year 2000 prophecy that was being drilled into his head. 2000. That was a big stumbling block for thousands of people. We don't even know how many of those people actually fell out that's still alive today. We don't know. But that was a position of adversity in which they did not pass. And that dude that y'all saw prior that I just showed you, which Lord willing, I'm going to do a lesson on that. But I just wanted to, bring that up. There's people out there that envy people with faith, man. To believe in something and they ain't seen it. It's brothers out there in the world that envy those men that have faith and still carrying on, man. And that's why a lot of them dudes who used to be in One West, they turned to scoffers. They got angry. They didn't get angry because of the apostles. A lot of these dudes, the apostles didn't wrong none of these dudes, man. The bishop elders didn't wrong none of these dudes, man. But what it is that they envy those that have faith that can continue on. So going back to Hebrews 4:2, it says, "For unto us was the gospel preached." Let me go to that. I'm gonna go to the whole thing. This is Hebrews 4:1. "Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it." Right, and that's another thing. These dudes, they didn't have faith, and neither did they have the fear. They just thought that this was just some get along thing, and they were cool with it. But you supposed to come in this thing fearing, man. It says, "Let us therefore fear, lest a promise." So the point matter is you supposed to fear or lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, which is what? Salvation, the kingdom of heaven, the first go around. "And any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached as well." So it was preached to us, and it was preached to those that dropped out, man, that fell out. "For unto us was the gospel preached as well, as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and the Most High did rest in the seventh day from all his works. And right now we still working, man. We still working, and these guys, the point was in verse 2. It says, for unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Right, because these guys didn't have the faith. And any man that falls out of this faith and does not continue, he don't have no faith, man. He was just here, man. A lot of dudes hear this gospel, but it's not mixed with faith. This gospel that's preached to us, it has to be mixed with faith. And what faith is a gift. It can be given to you. It can be taken away from you. That's why the apostles teach us to pray for faith. If you feel yourself waning in the faith, you pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and for more faith, man. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to keep it going. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. This is Slocky. This is the book of James 1 and 5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And that's what happened with this guy. He's a double-minded man. He thought about the world. He didn't have any faith. He lacked wisdom. The biggest thing, though, he didn't pray for it. And you can tell he didn't pray for it because he's out there in the world waiting for a missile. See, the apostles and the elders teach us to have a relationship, a personal relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You're not supposed to get enthralled with all the niceties. You're not supposed to get all enthralled with the the whole rigmarole. I'm lacking a word for it, but you're not supposed to get all enthralled with the goodness, just the goodness of the scriptures, or just the badness of the scriptures. You're supposed to eat this whole roll, eat it up, the good and the bad, and then therefore from that you could have a balanced. Hey, it's something called a balanced diet, right? You ain't supposed to eat too much, too little of anything. It's just you're supposed to eat just enough so that you can maintain. But if you find yourself lacking in any area, you're supposed to pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But when you ask, you got to ask with faith. It has to be mixed with faith. And this dude, you got to look on his face where he know he's wrong. He know he messed up, man. He know he jacked up. And there's a lot of dudes that was in this faith that's still walking on American soil, man. That's still walking on this earth. And they're going to be dealt with personally by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And they're going to be wondering why they didn't beat with so many stripes, because you were in the truth and you fell out, man. This is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. That's why you're supposed to continue on. Hey, even if you get casted out, man, continue on, man. You better pray to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That could be your test, man. But you're supposed to keep on keeping on. You know? You're supposed to keep on keeping on. Don't give up. Don't quit. See it through. You know? You're supposed to see it through, man. You know? And again, these dudes that fall out, they're watching these videos, bro, because this not something that you could just turn on and turn off on your own accord. Nah, this not. Same dudes that was watching men that came in under them, but the men that's watching, men that were leading at one point, they fell away. Now they seeing men that came in are elevated to a seat, given a seat, like Judas Iscariot. He fell out of the truth. Oh, how did he fall out of the truth? Because he gave up the Lord. But he was taken away, and his seat was given to another man that was more honorable than him. He got carnal. He stopped being spiritual. He didn't have the faith. He didn't. This thing, his understanding of the truth wasn't mixed with faith, and ultimately it was set up for him to do what he did. But the point of the matter is that that's what happens, man. You gotta use the tools that are given to you. A lot of they get excited because they see things. You might see brothers congregate together and power. You see the power of the Lord on brothers bringing out scriptures and breaking it down. You're like, oh man, this is heavy. It's heavy. And you see brothers out there week in, week out, year in, year out. You're like, damn, this is heavy. But guess what? It's more to the truth than what you see with your bodily eyes, man. And it takes more to sustain in this truth than what you see with bodily eyes, man. You got to have faith. You got to be able to do this work when nobody's around. You got to apply this work to your life, your everyday life. And know you're not going to be perfect. We all going to make mistakes. We all going to fall short. But we get back up and we keep going. Because the race ain't over. And I'll end it off with this one. This is Salakia. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not given. I'm going to read that again, Salakia. I'm a little excited. Ecclesiastes 9 and 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, for the battle to the strong, nor the battle to the I'll read it again. Sirach 9 and 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. Right, so this race, we're running a marathon. It's not a sprint. And a marathon is long. So you got to pace yourself. You got to pace yourself. The race is not given to the swift. All right? But time and chance happen to all men. So if you keep racing, eventually, if you keep running, eventually you're going to finish. But you have to endure until the end. Endure until the end. This is not the end yet. We're close. But we got to keep running. We got to keep going. And these guys that fell out, that stopped going, the guys that quit running, they still watching these videos because they know that this is true. They know that this word is true. And they see it now, especially even more now than ever. They see all these Israelite camps pop up. And they're like, damn, man, I used to be part of the One West. I used to be part of the One West. Man, what happened, man? And now all these younger brothers are stepping up to the plate where a lot of these dudes quit. You know? Taking their place. And they're like, damn, man, I was part of the One West. I knew this, da. So either they envy you because you got faith, and they hate, they get angry because their lack of faith, or they just like, damn, man, you know, they just sitting there, they watching, man. But these dudes is watching, man. Hey, so I ain't gonna make this lesson too long, but hey, that's the spirit, man. Hey, so with that, I'll say shalom and on to the next, man. Keep fighting, man. Don't give up. We got to keep going. If we got to tell ourselves that every day, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, we're going to make it, Lord willing. Yahweh Ba'ashem Ratazah. That's what that. Say Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Green Millstone for teaching his word in truth and sincerity, for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim. Keep pushing, keep striving. We're almost out of here. Hey, Shalom.